Los Angeles. It's the 2024 NHL Rookie Faceoff. Now, here's Barracuda voice Nick Nolenberger.
The 2024 NHL Rookie Faceoff marches on. It's Game 2 for the San Jose Sharks as they take on the Anaheim Ducks. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Amanda. Let's send it down to ice level for our Stars Spangled Banner. Sharks in their all-teal uniforms moving from left to right in this opening period. The Ducks in their new jerseys, orange, a very dominant color in the new threads, white uniforms with orange numbers, gold and black. The trim, Drew, it was fun on Friday. The Sharks with a 3-2 win over the Utah Hockey Club. Anaheim winners 4-3. We get more hockey, no celebrating, but Will Smith will bump to the #1 center ice position.
And so we'll see Will as he, he always looks to me like he's not moving very quick, but yet he gets things done. I thought he had a really good third period last game, so we'll see where we'll be with his line mates of Quentin Musty and Kasper Haltinen. But overall, I really like the game of the San Jose Sharks in game 1. Now what we want to see, Nick, is what Ryan Crowe talked to us about, which is compete level. Can you keep pushing the pace, and can you keep competing for pucks along the boards, in the corners, etc.?
Will Smith will take the center ice face-off draw, and we are underway. And he took the draw against his former teammate, Cutter Gauthier, who the Ducks acquired from the Philadelphia Flyers last season. A top prospect joining the fold for Anaheim. So the Sharks in their all-teal sweaters with the teal pants and helmets to match. Musty putting the pressure on. And Anaheim looking to exit their zone. Pass intended for Gauthier gets ramped up and into the air and played back along for Musty in the neutral zone. He takes a body check along the near side wall. Matakovic had it momentarily for Anaheim and now pulled in by Will Smith. Along for Musty, rink wide for Cagnoni, who was very good on Friday in the win against the Utah Hockey Club. 50 seconds into a scoreless first period. It's Day 3, Game 2 for the Sharks. They'll close things out tomorrow against Colorado at 11:30 a.m. And then we'll catch a flight back to Northern California. Training camp will start on Wednesday. Media day, rather, Wednesday. Training camp begins on Thursday at Sharks Ice in San Jose. Colin Graff in the neutral zone will direct it back to a defenseman. Return back to Graff. Big free agent signing of the Sharks. Got a Quinnipiac signed with the Sharks and joined the team at the end of his collegiate career. Beestead, left wing side, spots a man. It's Cardwell. He had the game winner on Friday. A power play goal. Coming down the right wing. He went top, a short side, top shelf to win it. Turned out to be the game winner in a 3-2 come from behind win against the Utah Hockey Club. So Anaheim back into their own end. Port will rim one around the wall. Van Roboys cuts it off, but it's recovered by Anaheim and back to neutral ice. 0-0 score as we're nearing 2 minutes gone in the opening period. Wedge takes a hit, rolls down in deep. Sharks putting on the pressure as Van Roboys applies a body check and pokes it up high to the point. Miski goes D-to-D. Shot from Hache from well out. Save made, and the rebound is gobbled up and held on by Butayets. And some pushing and shoving post whistle as Van Roboys is in the fray.
really quite a frantic pace to start things off. Not a lot of puck control, but there on that chance was very simple. Two guys in, get heavy on the forecheck, go low, high, and across, and quick shot to the net and then get to the net. That's a very basic forecheck, but worked out for a good chance on net.
So the face-off to the right side of the Anaheim netminder, off the draw. It's rimmed around to the near side. Chased down by Tristan Leno. And now reverse back to that far side. And this is going to be an icing against Anaheim, as Dion Chino a little bit too strong with his outlet feet. So the face-off draw will come back into the Ducks' end.
One thing you notice, watching the games yesterday, the Sharks had the day off yesterday, but watching the other teams play, you really get a sense of how good you've got to be along the boards on just being able to play in that tight area, get pucks out along the boards, create offensive opportunities along the boards. You've got to be able to be physically strong and deft with your stick as well.
Alex Blais wins the face-off draw. Now a foot race far sides, won by Haltman to the Sharks. 14 to Teal, gives off for Smith. Up top to the point for Buchler. DDD Cagnoni, his shot kicked aside by Butaets and cleared back to center.
Butaets is a big boy. He's what, 6'4", 6'5"?
22-year-old, drafted in the 6th round back in 2022. So I beg your pardon, just 19 years of age as the puck is skated back up that right wing side and rolled down in deep. So Sam Dickinson will head back and retrieve the puck, takes a hit on the end wall, comes free, pulled in and cleared out of the zone by the Sharks all the way down the length of the ice, and this will be an icing against San Jose.
Not a lot of time or space for either team. Once you get the puck, there's going to be somebody on you, both teams. And again, it was amazing when you're watching all the teams and how young these guys are, how quick they are. So you don't have a lot of time and space to make a play, so you've got to be away from the puck, really helping your line mate or your teammate get to an open spot so he's got somebody to give the puck to.
Face off to the right side of Gabe Carrier, who gets the start. Carrier signed a one-year AHL contract with the Barracuda this summer. Made his pro debut in the team's season finale against the Tucson Roadrunners and picked up a win. He played his college hockey at Vermont. There's a shot on target, didn't get through. The loose puck was there for a rebound, but the Sharks will rush it quickly out of the zone. Haltman down the right wing side, defended by Warren. Puck came back to him, steers it up high to the point. There's a wrister on target by Miskey. Save is made, thrown back through the crease. It was intended for Haltman. Unfortunately, he was down on the ice on his back, so couldn't retrieve the pass, as it was behind the netminder. Would have been a really good chance.
Good idea by the Sharks to try that play, but also, again, presence in front of the net, looking for the second or third opportunity.
Connor Smith up the near side. He'll play it, the big defenseman, and it will drift all the way down the length of the ice. Smith, 6'6", 210 pounds, and he looks like it from our vantage point. Broadcast booth just above the ice here in the right corner.
Again, Warren goes off the ice for the Anaheim Ducks. Noah Warren, he's 6'5". Smith comes out. Big.
Nathan Pilling will take the face-off draw for the Sharks, but it's forced back to center. Hache will go DDD for Miskey, and he gets the puck down in deep. Butaets, the goaltender, will rim it around, and Terrance will skate it up the ice and hand off for Postejov, who spent last year in San Diego in the American Hockey League. Saw Postejov in this rookie face-off a few years ago and had a hat trick. Puck to the left point. Slap shot off the target, and it's run down on the far side and played back to the point. Smith, left side, tried to go D to D, and now it's poked into the corner and stays in play, back up high to the point. Postejov takes a turn, works his way below the left dot, angle shot, shrugged aside by Carrier, and the rebound is flushed around the boards and scooped up by the Sharks and touched back to center.
Postejov does a nice job gaining some space, but it looked like a no communication or miscommunication once the switch was being taken, or trying to be taken by the Sharks, that allowed that space for Postejov.
Postejov will get the puck in deep, and Carrier will cover it up with 14:50 remaining in a scoreless first period. It's game 2 for the Sharks. They'll close out this rookie faceoff tomorrow morning against the Colorado Avalanche at 11:30 a.m.
The way most teams play, almost all teams play now in the defensive zone, there's some switching off. So when you're switching off, there's some communication that's needed. If not, you're going to see, like the San Jose Sharks last year, there were a lot of times they spent in their zone losing the coverage because of the lack of communication.
5 minutes, 10 seconds gone into scoreless first. We welcome those listening on the Sharks Audio Network and those who are watching at sjsharks.com. Happy hockey season. Sharks were off yesterday. Back on the ice here this evening, and we'll close it out tomorrow. 3 games over 4 days before training camp kicks off this upcoming week. Cardwell will fire it in deep. Butayet's the goaltender will rim it around. Colin Graff has it, twisted along the wall. It was sealed off, and Blais will work his way up and over the offensive blue line for the Ducks. Tried to place it to the middle of the ice. It was picked off, but recovered by Luneau for Anaheim. His drop pass picked off. Graff recovers it for the Sharks, rims it around far side for Bistad. Ducks forced it to the middle of the ice, and Cardwell will carry the mail. And hand off now for Graff, who tried to dance around Luneau and couldn't do so. And Luneau's back across the center stripe and backhanded in deep.
I would like to see Graff get his feet moving on that. He slowed that play down. If you skate, you can gain the line, plus you've got that middle drive. Maybe there's an opportunity there. By stopping skating, he actually played right into the hands of the Ducks.
Puck wedged up against the end wall in the Shark zone. Cardwell fishes it free and hoists it back to center. 0-0 score. 13:30 remaining in the first period. Live from the Toyota Sports Performance Center in El Segundo. Hard body check along the near side, as throwing the body for the Sharks was Colton Roberts. Hammered a duck along the near side wall, and it's back in to Anaheim ice. Now Van Rolboys trying to center it for Nolan Burke. That went through him, and it's back to the middle third. Anaheim will place the puck down in deep. And they'll make a change as the Sharks have a little bit of time and space deep in their own end. Under 13 to go in a scoreless first period. 89 in white. Port works it up the wall, sealed off by the Sharks. Burke has it in the offensive zone, up high to the point. Near side for Hache. Tried to twist one towards the net. That was blocked by Mayakovic and picked back up by Hache in his own end. Braden Hache played with Ethan Cardwell and Jr. and won a Memorial Cup last year with the Saginaw Spirit. Hache captained the Spirit to a championship, as here comes Will Smith weaving through neutral ice. Waits for some support, so he works his way back into his own defensive zone. Haltman will direct the puck right corner. Bianchino back into his own end. Some pressure on. Hands off for Smith. Got tied up in the feet of the official and tumbled down to the ice. Bianchino will work it back up that right side. Postajob played it around the wall, but it hit the stanchion, came back to him, and now he's going to carry it up the right wing as he looks to exit his zone. Gives off Bianchino, works around Smith, gains the offensive line. Bianchino went rink wide. Karams off the far side boards, picked up by Torrance, and out of the top of the umbrella as Anaheim sets up in the offensive zone.
Penalty coming up to the Sharks, and there's going to be interference in front.
Right in front of the Shark net, as Drew mentioned. Lots of contact. The duck went down, and heading to the box for San Jose. It looks like Jeremy Bushler will take a seat, so Anaheim will get the first power play opportunity of the game. Time of the minor at the 8:32 mark of period number 1.
In game 1, the Sharks had the clear advantage in power play opportunities because, as you mentioned during the broadcast, Nick, they had the puck. When you have the puck all that time and you have 47 shots on net, you are bringing the pressure. Chances are you're going to draw some penalties. Now we get to see the penalty kill for the Sharks.
So the face-off draw will be to the right side of Carrier. 11:28 left in the first. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Amenda. Game 2 for the Sharks of the 2024 NHL Rookie Face-Off here in El Segundo. Off the face-off draw, the Sharks had it for a second, but Bjugstad lost his stick. It's recovered by Anaheim. Seam pass far wing. Gauthier to the near side post, and the one-timer's fired just off the frame. That was Torrance, who was parked on the near side. Torrance is going to work his way down the wall, try to rim it around. Corner battle.
Work.
Both teams
Careful with the cross checks, though.
jamming away. It was Sam Dickinson throwing around the lumber a little bit. Bjugstad able to clear the zone all the way back into the Anaheim end. So Leno back into his own zone for the Ducks.
Good play.
Good stick by Van Rolboys. Took the puck away.
Read that cut back very well. It's something of an adjustment. You've seen NHL teams start to get into that. Drop pass is no longer going to be free for a lot of penalty killers.
And Rolboys, 25 years of age. He played 5 years of college hockey. He was one of the best center icemen in all of college hockey last year at UMass in terms of taking face-off draws. He's a real good penalty killer. And if he is to earn a job with the Barracuda this upcoming year, it'll likely be in a PK bottom six role, but he's going to be a hard worker. He's going to do everything the coach is going to ask for. Sharks trying to kill off this Anaheim power play that's got 32 seconds remaining on it. So the Ducks set up here. Ranger putting on the pressure. Pasta job down low against the grain. It comes free. Chased down by Bianchino. That's wired towards the net, but wide. Anaheim recovers control, and we're down to 7 seconds remaining on the advantage. Pasta job, his wrister, that's blocked. Ranger looking to clear. And a good hold by Bianchino as he reaches out for it and keeps it inside the offensive zone. Loads up a wrister that's blocked. Bushler's out of the penalty box. We're back to full strength. Ducks still threatening, though, with the puck deep in Sharks ice. There's a spinning wrister high and over the frame by Sidorov. Sharks pick it up, and Cagnoni's able to clear the length of the ice.
No icing.
No icing, they wave it off, so that affords a Sharks change. Sidorov along the near side, shoveled down into the corner. Dickinson back to retrieve it for the Sharks. Flicked up the near side wall, and it's forced back into Anaheim ice. Warren, the defenseman, up the near side. Rushed up the left side by Jackson Vaughn of Anaheim. Sharks took it away, but errantly play it to the point. Slapped back into the corner. And now the Sharks with some time and space, and Bill Smith's going to circle back into his own end as the Ducks are making a change. It's a pass intended for Smith, and it's going to go down for an icing.
We're talking about Van Rolboys and where he might be able to find his niche to start off his NHL career. Reminds me of the Brian Burke saying, learn to play the tuba. Not everybody can be first violinists. So you got to learn to play the tuba somewhere, somehow. Find your spot, find a way that you can stay around.
There's a shot towards the net. Van Rolboys said he kind of found it. He didn't look for it, it kind of found him, if you will. Court back into his own end for Anaheim as it's rolled for Loveson. He's hammered along the near side wall as Musty comes barreling in. Up to the point, Bushler. Sharks control. Cagnoni, wrister, kicked aside by Butayet's the netminder. Now Gauthier, 61 in white. Gauthier finished up his collegiate career last year, signed with Anaheim.
You pointed out something very unique. His father played for the San Jose Sharks.
3 minutes. He was a goaltender, drafted by Winnipeg back in the 98-99 season.
It was a 4-0 loss to the Chicago Blackhawks. Steve Shields got pulled with 3 minutes left to go. Obviously, Daryl Sutter wasn't happy with him, and Sean.
Bushler loads up a wrister as it carried him to him on the point. Good look there for the Sharks. Now Cagnoni shoots and scores. Luca Cagnoni along the ice, did not dust it off, just fired it back on target, and it's through the wickets of Butayet's, and the Sharks are on the board.
Very nicely done again by the Sharks. They had a good second man on that, and then the D gets involved right away. Look how everybody just jumps in. They've had good net front presence. The second man on that forecheck seals the boards, does a really good job, and then the D jump in, bang. There's the shot. And then Cagnoni, as you said, doesn't waste any time, picks up that rebound. And that rebound's available because all the Anaheim Ducks have to collapse because of the presence in front of the net by the Sharks.
You really like Cagnoni's game on Friday. Yeah. He's not the biggest of guys, but he's got tons of skill. And he gets the Sharks on the board here in the first period. Another chance, a rising shot from the high slot by Wetch, just over the frame. Back to the point, shoveled in on the netminder and snared as Anaheim gets a whistle.
The Ducks and the Sharks pushing each other around. There's a shocker, usually doesn't happen. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. If it's the Sharks and the Ducks, there are bad feelings.
Gotta love the California rivalries between SoCal, NorCal, and we're just getting started with the 2024 NHL Rookie Face-Off. Should set the table for the upcoming year. We'll be back in a moment. 1-0 lead for the Sharks, and the goal by Cagnoni is first to the Rookie Face-Off. This is Sharks Hockey on the Sharks Audio Network and at sgsharks.com. Welcome back to El Segundo. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Remenda. We'll have the broadcast tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m.
Right now, we're just they still haven't made the announcement on who scored the goal. Looks like there might. Cagnoni made it play the play. Well, everybody made the play happen, but Cagnoni made the play happen. But right now, it's looking like. Who they say it?
Bushler
had it. Yeah, Bushler had it. The defense partner took the original shot.
So unless that puck changed direction and got tipped by Bushler, I think it's going to be Cagnoni's goal, but we'll wait to see if that ends up getting changed. We talked about it a little bit, Drew, on Friday. This is just such a fun event because it's kind of the who's who of hockey, at least amongst the teams. But you get additional teams here represented with the scouts, but I mean, there's some big-time names here sitting in the stands.
Well, Central, it's great, too, because it's Central, you know, in L.A. Who's not going to come to L.A. and watch hockey? And so you got a lot of people here, general managers, everybody's here to watch their teams, but watch other teams as well.
Puck's back to center ice, 6:35 remaining in this opening period. Sharks 1, Ducks nothing.
I love seeing the great Danny Heatley, who's walked by us a couple of times, former Shark great, all-star. Ooh, good hit there. He's working for Philadelphia.
So Warren back in his own end. Van Roboy's on the far side. Puck got poked just past him, and the Ducks will break out of the zone. Blais reaching out for it, swiped off of his blade. And it's touched down in deep. So Warren will horseshoe the puck around far wing. Blais will await its arrival. 70 in white. And he'll veer it back to center. Yesterday, the Sharks, of course, were off, and that afforded some folks to get a little bit of free time. And Kyle Hagel showed me a video. They rented cruisers. You don't see Evgeny Nabokov riding a cruiser along the beach every day. So. There's a chance for the Sharks as Granger comes busting in on net. Up to the point for Dickinson, loads up a wrister, never got through. Where is it? And ends up rolling into the right corner. Foot race to it on the far side. And the Sharks pull it out.
And there's a good work along the boards. Now worked away in front of the net. Should have drawn a penalty, no call, but job by the Sharks on that play. And that was just hard work.
Fourth line out there for the Sharks. Pass intended for Sumpf is tipped away. Matakovic, and back in transition come the Ducks. They're over the line. Center to the middle of the ice as Matakovic was reaching out for it. Under 5 to go in this opening period. It's a 1-0 Sharks lead on a goal we believe is going to be credited eventually to Luca Cagnoni. Sharks will fire it in deep. Roberts is the one who gets it down into the trapezoid. Dion Chino along the near side. Plays it along for Loveson for the Ducks. Chips it into the left corner. Cagnoni with some rear pressure. Bodies colliding behind the Shark net. 1-0 lead for the Sharks. 4:21 left here in the first period. It was Seattle and Vegas who played before this game on this sheet ice. Vegas was up 4-0. Seattle came all the way back to get within a goal. Ultimately, the Golden Knights win at 5-3. Anaheim over the offensive blue line, but they're offside.
What has been impressive from both teams so far today is tracking back or back checking, getting back into through the neutral zone into their own zone to help the defenseman. Not a lot of time or space, like I mentioned earlier. That's because of the hustle away from the puck.
So Philip Easthead will step in to take the face-off draw against Tarrants, and the Sharks control. Sharks have it in their own end, worked up the ice by Bjugstad. Bjugstad, they had him in 21 last year, changing his number to 18. He wore 18 during the World Junior Championships with Team Sweden. As there's a stretch pass out of the reach of Cardwell, and this, well, they're going to wave it off. Usero back to retrieve for Anaheim. On the backhand, gets it to center. Skated up ice by Blais. Blais trying to get around Miskey, the defenseman. Those two converge on the puck. Miskey good inside positioning, and the Sharks look to break out.
Yeah, Miskey played that well. Oh, good hit on Cardwell.
Now Colin Graff kicks it to his forehand, but was outnumbered. Good backtracking by Anaheim, but the Sharks take it right back. Haché works his way down the wall. Hands off for Cardwell. Right-handed shot, shoots, and a glove save by Butayets, and it's held on, and Van Roboy's back in the mix. As we get a whistle with 2:57 left in the first, 1-0 lead for the Sharks.
Now, as the Sharks enter the zone, what you'd like is, again, that play is made because of the hustle back as the puck started to go the other way. Third man on that forecheck, he got back up high quick, reset, and then was able to keep the puck in and create that chance.
So a face-off to the left side of the Anaheim net. Blais will step in against Van Roboy, who wins it quickly back for Nolan Burke. Sharks putting some pressure on, forced just wide of the net on that far side. Anaheim has it once again, but Sharks again applying that pressure. D'Angelo trying to clear. He was ran into by Wetch. And now up high to the point. It's held in by Haché. His shot from well out wide. Van Roboy tracks it down. Luneau was the one trying to win it back for Anaheim. Placed into the slot for Burke, and he lost it, and the Ducks get it back to center ice. Now picked up by Anaheim. Working down the wing, kind of a broken play on net, and the save is made by Carrier, and he holds on with 2:18 left in this first.
That broken play turned into a very good scoring chance for the Anaheim Ducks.
Right now they have the shots in this first period listed at 8-3 in favor of the Sharks.
Yeah.
Not a ton of work for Carrier so far in this first period, much like Georgi Romanov on Friday, didn't face a ton of rubber. So back underway, Anaheim controls in the offensive zone. Circumnavigating the attacking end was Colangelo, and Sharks force it to center.
Haltonen makes a nice defensive play at the line and pokes the puck out. He's a heads-up player.
Collision behind the Sharks net. Held in by Warren on the right point as Smith for the Sharks was trying to get to it, and then a sharp angle chance by Gauthier was turned aside. The Sharks are back on it at center ice, and that puck's going to go in the bench for a moment. And now some pushing and shoving between Sam Dickinson And Sam Colangelo.
Haltonen's over there pushing and shoving too. I think he's with Warren, I think, maybe. Can't say if it's 47-41, that's Warren.
You know, you've got to love a lot of these players who've never played in the NHL.
Exactly.
They probably didn't know much about this rivalry, but they throw the jersey on and instantly they're embedded in it.
It happens. Yep. But also, again, we're going to talk about it a lot this entire season, the compete of the Sharks. That's part of it, to not give up an inch. You know, if you're going to be pushing and shoving at the end of the whistle, then sticking up for your teammates, etc., making sure you don't give an inch. You just might make sure you don't take a penalty as well. There's discipline has to be involved in that, but that intensity, rather have a guy you got to pull back from the edge than push him to it, Nick.
1:32 left here in this first period. 1-0 lead for the Sharks. Cagnoni, the goal scorer, still credited to Bushler. We'll see if they end up changing that during the intermission. We've got no excuse on who scored the goal. We're about 20 feet away from it in our broadcast vantage
yeah, but
point.
we got a lot going on.
We got mesh we're dealing with. We're at an angle.
We got a lot going on.
We don't need binoculars from up here, that's for sure.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm getting old.
100 minutes to go in this first period. Port's going to play a right wing side, and it's taken back by Cagnoni of the Sharks. He'll go D to D. Bushler works his way up the ice and places it right corner. Bushler last year, 11 games at the end of the year with the Barracuda. I thought he played quite well after signing a PTO from Vermont. Bianchino now a center drive. He stood up and shake it up, but a penalty coming against the Sharks.
Yeah, could be a cross check. It was pretty easy to call that one.
Yeah, and it comes with 31 seconds to go in the first period. It'll be the second power play of the game for Anaheim. They're 0 for 1.
Just on the entry into the zone. Bianchino comes in and then gets popped with a cross check. Stick comes up and then a little extra shot. Man goes down. Pretty easy for the referee to call that.
So face off to the right side of Gabe Carrier. Off the draw, it's picked up by the Ducks. And ripped off the boards, and that puck will flutter back to the Anaheim blue line. 18 seconds to go in this opening period. Sharks 1, Ducks nothing. Anaheim back into the attacking zone. Body check along the near side by Beasted. Now a one-timer, and they score. Oof. A missile on that right side with 7 seconds to go in the first period. And Anaheim has leveled the score at 1-1.
Cutter Gauthier gets that opportunity, and it's just hard work along the boards again. We talked about earlier how important it is to make that happen along the boards. What the Anaheim Ducks do is just basic power play situation. They've got an extra man on the ice, so they go a 3-on-2 along the boards, win that loose puck, and Cutter Gauthier drills it home.
He has no problem scoring, led all of NCAA hockey in goals a year ago. He had 38 of them. He can absolutely fill it up. One of the bigger prospect trades you'll ever see when Anaheim acquired him last year from Philadelphia for Jamie Drysdale in a second-round draft pick in 2025. So Gauthier ties it late in the period on the power play at 1-1.
7.6 seconds left. That's always a tough one, but again, we talk about penalties and power play opportunities. Take advantage of that with that late goal. The Anaheim Ducks do, and they even things up, but it was a very good work by the Ducks to get that loose puck, and then Gauthier with the shot was incredible. Gauthier
wires it past Carrier to tie the score up with 7.6 left here in the opening period as we close out the first, even at 1-1. Live here from El Segundo, it's a 1-1 score after 20 minutes between the Ducks and the Sharks. We're back in a moment. This is Sharks Hockey on the San Jose Sharks Audio Network and at sgsharks.com.
season, regular season, and postseason action via the Sharks Plus SAP Center app and at sjbarracuda.com. The future of the Sharks lives here.
Welcome to the annual trading cards auction, brought to you by TechCU. Yes, the gentleman in the teal.
Legacies start here.
Opportunity for the hat trick.
Season tickets are now available for the 24-25 season of the Barracuda, AHL affiliate of the San Jose Sharks. Never miss a moment of Barracuda hockey by becoming a Battery member, with perks like exclusive Meet the Team events and discounted tickets to premium areas. You won't want to wait to learn more. Call 408-999-5757 or go to sjbarracuda.com.
Welcome back to El Segundo. 1-1 score after one between the Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Remenda. Sharks, I thought, played quite well in the first period. You do take a couple of minor penalties. The second one comes back to bite you. But overall, again, another good showing through the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I thought they had a good jump to their game. Their forecheck was very good. They got to the front of the net, tracked back really well. A lot of good things that you saw. The hustle is incredible. It amazes me how hard both teams. I mean, you see these kids. They're enthusiastic. They've got tons of skill. They've got tons of energy. It makes for a very exciting game, and it gives you a kind of insight into how the game is nowadays. The game is highly skilled players, but they have to, as we talked about, have to kind of adjust a little bit because they're all been highly skilled. Then they get up to this area where there's less than 1% of the hockey players in the world are playing professional hockey. And then things start to even out and even surpass you. So you see guys like Van Roelboys. I mean, you watch him play and he's really got a great head for the game. Smart, as you talked about, offensively, very good in his college days. But when he comes down here, what's he going to do to make an impression? You see him compete and on the penalty kill do some really good things. So you're seeing a lot of good things. This is fun to watch hockey because there's so much just going for it. I mean, they're just play hard because they're trying to make an impression and, you know, not only last through rookie camp, but get to the big camp as well.
We were talking about it a little bit before the game. You watch these games, there's going to be some young player mistakes, right? That's pretty expected. But there's a lot of skill as well, and we heard from Ryan Clough when we asked him, what do you want to see over this 4-day, 3-game event? And he said he wanted players to play free, not worry so much maybe systematically and the little nitty-gritty things. Play your way, utilize your skill, all those things. But they also want to focus a little bit, I think, on some of those details as well. But for a young player trying to make an impression, how do you balance that? And from a coaching perspective, how do you balance just the messaging as well in a situation like this? Playing with your skill, also playing structured.
Yeah, I think from this point, though, early in the season, Johnny McCarthy and his staff won't be too worried about, you know, if a guy's out of position on a defensive zone coverage. Defensive zone coverage is really different these days. Defensive zone coverage, almost all the teams in the National Hockey League play this new system where it's a zone system, basically. And there's some handoffs. If the play starts to cycle up from the corner, you know, past what coaches will call the T line that goes across and then down, you hand them off to the forward if you're the defenseman chasing up and the defenseman retreats back. There's a lot of space given on the outside, but the idea is to protect the middle. Most of back in the day used to play man-on-man. And that basically man-on-man is just that. Few teams played it. LA played it last year all the time. But the man-on-man coverage makes you susceptible to that situation where the puck carrier loses you as your defensive player and then gains that spot to the net. But the system is a little difficult to understand, especially if you haven't played it before. So these players, they might be out of place defensively in a zone here and there. But if you're mainly the assistant coaches for the Sharks and the Barracuda, would just walk over and go, okay, on that one. Or else you just walk by and just say to them, you know what you did? You go, yep, okay, good. And that's it. you wouldn't give him a lot of information. You'd want to see what those other intangibles. How does he think on his feet? How is he in those tight spaces? Does he compete? Does he play inside? Is he blocking shots? Is he getting to the net? Those types of things. Those competitive things, the controllables, as it were, are what you're looking for from your players. That's the big thing. You can tell, does a player have a high hockey IQ? You can tell by just watching them. We watched Macklin Celebrini the other day. Kid's got a high hockey IQ. Ethan Cardwell, huge hockey IQ. So when you're looking at that, that's what you're looking for. But you want to see that number one thing is you want to see compete more than anything. Speaking of compete,
Nick Nollenberger alongside Drew Remender, and we've got the head coach of the San Jose Sharks, Ryan Warsofsky, joining us up in our makeshift broadcast booth. Warzo, first and foremost, congratulations. Obviously, this has been a big summer for you. This is a fun event. You're around a lot of different members of various organizations. It's kind of a hockey festival of sorts. You're able to watch some players maybe you wouldn't have a chance to. What is this whole weekend like for you? And from a head coaching perspective, what are you trying to surmise over these 4 days?
Yeah, just taking it all in, seeing our young prospects, and I like to see where guys went from year one to year two, and the Will Smiths, and now it's just, his first tournament, but his second time in front of us in the last 2 years here. Obviously Celebrini, but then also the Cardwells and how he's developed, and seeing Dickinson for the first time. But the second-year guys is the guys I'm kind of watching right now. And the play is one thing, but I want to see how they interact with their teammates. I want to see how they, are getting coached by Johnny and his staff, and how they take the coaching and how they take the teaching element of what's going on in this tournament.
You and I talked a couple weeks ago, just talking about what you want to see from your team once we get going in the NHL. Ryan Clough was on last game talking about what he wants to see, and it's funny how they intersect and mesh. But the number one word that kept coming up when you and I talked, and when we talked to Ryan, was compete.
Yeah.
Compete. How do you identify guys competing? What kind of things should we be looking for, and should Sharks fans be looking for?
Yeah, I think, are we winning 50-50 puck battles? Are we winning races to pucks? Are we standing over pucks and having second effort after we lose a puck battle? All the little details that are really the big details to winning hockey games and winning in the National Hockey League. And, you watch the Stanley Cup winners of every year, their effort, their second effort, their compete level, their competitiveness is the best of every team. That's just, they rise to the top. So we need to change that a little bit around here and be a little bit more competitive in what we do. And that just can't be, Saturday or Thursday night against St. Louis in our home opener. That's going to go again on Saturday in our second game of the year. So it's just being more consistent in what we do. But again, yeah, Ryan's right. Our organization, I think, is all on the same page of we need more competitive people around here. We need to compete harder for the little intangible things that sometimes you can't judge in a box score. So there will be a lot of eye tests. There will be some things that we'll show and teach and praise at times, and then things where we have to correct.
Can you see some of the guys doing that? What amazes me is that there's not a heck of a lot of time and space out there. Can you see that happening was just in the first game, four periods?
Perfect example, I think, the last 5 minutes of that period where Graf comes up on a track, and instead of making it a 3-on-2, he makes it a 3-on-3. And those are the little things, and now we have numbers, and we're not giving up these odd man rushes. And I think I call it not taking a breath. He didn't take a breath. He stayed on his foot on the gas, and he made that a 3-on-3. So those are the things that we can judge, and that's what I'm watching. And I know Johnny implemented that, before this camp, which is good to see.
Well, there's lots of names that Sharks fans are keeping an eye on. Two biggest names, obviously, Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini. Mac not playing tonight, likely will play tomorrow morning. From your perspective, over the remainder of this game, tomorrow, going through training camp, what do you want to see from these young players for them to be ready for opening night if they are to be in your lineup?
Yeah, I want to see them competing in every drill, in the gym, on the ping pong table. How competitive are they as human beings? And I know Macklin is, I know Will is. Is someone else going to jump out to us where man, we got to see him in another exhibition game, or he's close, or this is a guy that we want in our lineup on opening night. Well, there's jobs to be won. So we're just going to continue to watch and observe, and obviously we got to teach some new systems that are going to be put in place starting on Thursday, and we got to make sure we're clear and concise on what we're doing as a coaching staff, so there's no gray area, there's no confusion. Our players leave the arena and our locker room and our meetings that it's crystal clear what we want. So that's going to be a big expectation.
What's the benefit of having those two players on the same path, signing NHL contracts? They'll likely begin their career at the same time, despite being in separate drafts.
I think they're gonna push in each other, right? I think again they're self-driven, they're competitive. I think there's going to be some inner competition between whether that's ice time, whether that's power play, penalty kill, certain situations in a game, individual awards. Team success usually comes with individual success. So I think they'll both drive each other, and again, we're excited. It's not going to be a smooth ride. They're going to have their ups and downs, and we need to be there to support them and help them and help them through it.
When you are going through a summer like this, I know you get the job and you've got to now put your staff together and then get your plan going forward. How busy has it been for you, and how excited are you to finally get it back on the ice and let's go?
Yeah, I'm excited. It was obviously a busy time. You get the job, the press conference, you start building your staff, you go to the draft, you're still building your staff. You go back, you development camp, you get the staff figured out, and then you start meeting. And it's kind of the whole development camp, which was great. We had everyone in there. We were meeting for the whole, full days in July and June, and we had some Zoom calls throughout the summer, and then we're here a little bit earlier than probably most staffs in San Jose, just so we can be very prepared for this camp. I think it's a big transition period in this organization, and we have to be prepared as a staff so they understand when, like I said, when they leave our meetings, that it's pretty crystal clear. Our practices are run smoothly. So, we've rehearsed our first practice probably 4 or 5 times, and we'll probably do it again before Wednesday just to make sure we're on point. But it's been a busy summer, exciting summer, and, I think we're just ready to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a young staff, except for Doug. But I was talking to Jeff Elmer today and just talking to you about, the age, the relationship, and how important it is to relate, because the players are so much younger now. You've got some veteran guys coming in, great, of course. But is that an advantage for you? Is that an advantage for the coaching staff?
No, for sure. I think so. I think we have an energy around our room that we haven't had since I've been here. Guys are excited. I think I relate to the younger generation in a sense, being a younger coach. But what I love is we do have energy from our older players. Our younger guys are bringing in energy, and that's great, and we're excited. But now it's time to put the work in, right? We've been having these captain skates. Guys are in shape. Guys have been training. Now when it comes to, getting in our first meeting and we get on the ice on Thursday, that energy and that excitement has to turn into competitiveness and passion and now start learning our systems and understanding our systems so we can play as a group together. We know we're not going to be the most, talented group. We're going to be a team that's going to grow throughout the year, but we have to stick together. That's going to be the number one thing.
There's a sense of optimism, though, around. I mean, not only from you and the management and the players, but from the fans. The fans are excited.
Yeah, I think we're all. Again, you can just feel it at the development camp, teal and white scrimmage, the energy that's sold out, basically, the Tech CU, and you could just feel it. Just getting around the guys from summer on, from the draft on, it's been great. And I think we're just going to rally around our organization, our fans. I think everyone's pulling in the right direction, in the same direction, and that's where we have to go if we're going to go anywhere.
All right, one more for me. Your press conference, you put it on full display, just your energy and passion for this sport. Where does that come from?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm one of 4 boys, 3 brothers. We would compete over a chicken wing at the table at times. So, I think it just, I'm a competitive person in everything I do, and maybe that breeds it. But I'm just going to be myself. Everyone asks you, from assistant coach to a head coach, I'm really not going to change much. I am who I am. I'll probably get a little bit fired up more at times and more emotion on my sleeve at times. But I think if you change who you are, the player's going to know. The players that have been with me know me. I'm going to demand a lot and have some stern conversations at times, but I'm going to be myself and just kind of, what got me here is kind of why I'm here. So I'll kind of just continue to be me.
Well, one thing you notice when you have a conversation, it's authentic, and that comes, and the players notice that too. So best of luck this upcoming season. Congratulations. Enjoy the final couple of periods and tomorrow as well. But thanks you for the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Ryan Warsofsky, head coach of the San Jose Sharks. Very kind of him to join us up here in the broadcast booth. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Amena. That'll just carry us right into period number 2. Ducks got a late goal from Cutter Gauthier to tie it up at 1-1, and that's where we stand after one period. Impressive guy.
But
very impressive guy.
He's very impressive. The last 2 seasons talking to him, just about, if you'd ask him about a play or ask him about a player, that's the insight you got. But now, you know, and he's been a head coach, East Coast Hockey League, at AHL, he won a championship there. This guy knows what he's doing. You can tell with the optimism. I love the fact he talked about we've rehearsed our first practice for about five days now. And when I talk to him about practices, and I've got this pet peeve of being an ex-coach, but how practices in the National Hockey League they lack specificity, they lack structure, they lack a direction. Sometimes just go out there and just go. That's not going to happen with Ryan Warsofsky and his coaching staff.
And Drew has a great conversation with Ryan Warsofsky that you can find on demand at sjsharks.com. And Drew will have more of those conversations, coaching perspective conversations.
We had one with Johnny McCarthy. We actually talked to also a good friend of mine, former San Jose Shark, Dean Evison, Columbus Blue Jackets, but that was before the tragic events with the Gaudreau brothers. So we're going to leave that one off right at the moment, because we did talk a lot about Johnny. But we're going to have a one with Thomas Spear. We're going to talk about two coaches about coaching. So we hope that for the Sharks fans join us on the Sharks Audio Network.
Will Smith will take the center ice faceoff draw against Cutter Gauthier, his former BC Eagle teammate. And it's won by Smith, back for Jeremy Bushler, and Bushler will work his way up that right wing as he gains a line. It'll carry him free in the middle of the ice, recovered by Anaheim, and they'll rush it back to center. 1-1 is the score, early stages of this second period. Colangelo in on the forecheck, played last year in Western Michigan, was a teammate of Luke Granger with the Broncos. Back up high to the point. Ducks in the attacking zone. Luneau got it into the corner. And back up to Luneau. His shot, stick save, Carrier. Puck still loose in front. It's up on its edge. Quick shot there by Luneau, and it's blocked. And it caroms back to the point. But Anaheim forced to skate it back to center ice. And they'll make a partial change on the fly. They'll quickly get it in deep. Quick shot there by Gauthier. Turned aside, stick save, Carrier.
Carrier went to stop that puck on that rim behind the net, missed it, and that turned into the chance.
Ducks have a jump to start the second period after a late first period goal. That goal for Gauthier came with under 7 seconds to go in the period on the power play. As Sidorov's shot is wide, and Warren will swipe it back below the goal line. Kostajov will twist it far wing. Scooped up on that far side by Sidorov. On target, picked back up by Torrance. He's in the trapezoid, up high to the point, and a wrister tipped wide of the mark. It was off the blade of Kostajov, and then he tracks it down below the goal line. Back up top of the umbrella. Ducks control. Minute and a half gone in the second period, tied at 1-1 as Musty will track it down, takes a body check in the corner as he tries to clear. Warren holds it in initially, and it's laid back along the near half wall. Kostajov. He's cut off by Kenyoni, and finally it's lofted back to center ice and all the way down the length of the ice. This will be an icing against the Sharks, who are on their heels a little bit. We are 1 minute and 55 seconds into the second period, still tied at 1-1.
Yeah, really good start to almost 2 minutes of the Anaheim Ducks being in the Sharks zone. And they're physical, keeping the puck along the boards. They're winning the races to the puck. So their start, they are on their toes.
Will Smith will take the face-off draw. It's in the lobby at the hotel, and Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini were hanging out. I believe they're roommates on this trip.
They are. Yeah. I think Ryan Warsofsky brought up a really good point that was a great question, Nick, about how will they affect each other and on their similar career paths. And he said they're going to push each other, and they definitely will, just kind of two competitors that they are.
Ducks once again in the offensive zone. Oh, good end wall body check by Sam Dickinson.
San Jose Sharks.
Dickinson, he's a two-way guy. 11th overall pick in this last draft. He's got tons of offense, but he's got a huge frame as well. You like to see him throw the body around a little bit. He was mixing up late in that first period as it started to get a bit chippy. Dickinson will rim it around the wall. Played last year with London in the Ontario Hockey League. And now B-stick. Drop pass Cardwell. Far right wing side. Graf loads up, shoots, and a good glove stop by Butayets.
Pushing and shoving in front. More guys getting involved. So, yeah. Good chance. First good chance for the Anaheim, or for the San Jose Sharks against Anaheim. And it happened because, you mentioned, really where the puck changed was that hit by Dickinson. And then the Sharks were able to get some possession and start rolling up the ice. I really like the move that Dickinson made down low that evaded a forechecker that allowed the chance for the shot to eventually happen.
So the face-off to the left side of the Anaheim goaltender. We're 2 minutes and 56 seconds in to this second period. And the puck will be rolled all the way down the length of the ice. Icing waved off. Vaughn with it, 82 in white. Changes direction on Roberts. Gives it off, and it was fanned on by DeRusso. And back to center, the Sharks will play. Controlled by Anaheim in their own end, weaving away from the pressure. Bianchino, flick to center. Loveson, stepping up was Dickinson to apply the body check. His Carrier will rim it back around the near side wall. Loveson tumbling over his skis. No penalty. There was a penalty, I believe.
Ouch, took over my head. I
Just,
thought it was going to be a trip too, but.
Heard that quick whistle and thought maybe so.
Yeah. It's actually, that comes up good right now for the Sharks. Dickinson, I think, has got a skate problem, an issue that he was messing with in the neutral zone. He's going to get that looked at when he gets to the bench.
So Van Roboys will step in to take the draw. And off the face-off, it's scooped up and placed in deep by the Ducks. Pache along the near side, the Florida Panther draft pick. Got it up high to the point. Warren kind of fumbled it, and it's back to center. Sharks will gain the line, but they're offside as Burke tried to carry it in.
A little bit right now for the Sharks, trying to just find a rhythm. The hustle's there, execution is not.
So the face-off right in front of the Sharks bench. Barracuda head coach John McCarthy and his staff behind the Sharks bench for this rookie face-off. But it's kind of nice for Brian Warsofsky and his staff to take in the game from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Able to just kind of enjoy these 3 games before training camp kicks off this upcoming week. Miskey back into his own end, 89 in teal, rims it up the wall. Welch will hand off for Burke. There's some interference in the neutral zone as Van Roboys was run into it. He is shaken up. Yeah, he was about 8 feet away from the puck, and he's on all fours right now. And then a hit after the whistle is going to draw the attention.
It was a, not a slew foot, but it was certainly a guy from behind, goes to the front, pushes his man down, which was Van Roboys. As Van Roboys is coming up the ice. As he's coming back up the ice, did he get the leg behind on that? Looked like it.
Either way, easy call. Puck wasn't even close to him. He's just coming up the ice. Now, you're a big football fan. We saw week 1 a lot of penalties called, right? And you always hear about that. The refs are a little bit more focused on particular parts of the game.
Formation calls do
you see that little in the NHL though, early in the season? Where they're emphasizing specific plays.
And then as time continues, and then you get to the playoffs, you got to work a little harder to get a penalty nowadays. You know, it's just the way. But you don't. What are the other aspect that happens, and that's not on the referees, where players do adjust. So you got to crack the whip a little earlier.
Here comes Anaheim back into the offensive zone. Good stick there by Cagnoni. Yeah, they want to set the precedent early, but then they do. It's pretty clear they taper off of it as the season continues.
So all officials are different.
Here's a chance for Smith in the high slot. Good block shot. It'll carry him into the corner. Sharks on the power play for the first time in the game. Had a couple of PPGs in the win against Utah on Friday. Kenyoni for Haltman. And it's going to be cleared all the way back down the length of the ice. So Carrier will stop it for Kenyoni. Smith quickly works his way up ice. Could have a chance here. Here comes Will Smith working in. Hands off. Oh, what a save on the left side by Butayets with the pillow. Wow.
Not exactly the change you're looking for, but a heads-up play by the Sharks to get the puck up ice right away, as the change was really poor. Not everybody should change when you're on the penalty kill. But a really smart play by Carrier. He sets it, communicates, and a quick up. All 4 guys for Anaheim went off the ice. It was a 2-on-0, but
I think if Smith is a left-handed shot, maybe he takes that to the net, but because he was a righty, he decides to hand it off. It was kind of a partial breakaway. Great look, but if Smitty's coming down the other side, he might just take it to the paint. There's still a 1-1 score. Sharks on the power play. Here's a chance, and they score. A broken play. It's twisted in on net, and the Sharks have the lead back. It's Nolan Burke with the power play goal.
Just keep working for the puck. Stay with it. Wasn't pretty, but it was effective. And what's pretty about it, though, is the work to get the puck back. One of the keys of a good power play is puck recovery, and 4 guys jump in on that. And on that play, when you're looking at it, I think Burke was the guy that jumps in on it. From the point, it might have been Bistad. He jumps in. Good play to keep the puck. And bang, in the net it goes.
Burke, an undrafted free agent signee of Nashville, played a handful of games in Milwaukee, but mostly in the East Coast League last year in Atlanta. But he came over in the Yaroslav Askarov trade. And he's got the Sharks back on top. 3rd power play goal of this rookie faceoff for the Sharks. And the Big Club last year had a great finish to the season on the man advantage, and they're going to have some more pieces to play with this upcoming year, with the likes of Smith and Celebrini likely joining the fold. So Sharks back on top as we're back to full strength. Under 14 to go in the second period. Court over the line, and a good stick by Wetch, and he'll carry the mail up the right wing side. Wetch coming down that right flank, top of the circle. His shot partially blocked, poked aside by the goaltender Butayets. Wetch was collided into in the corner. Rather, that was Nathan Pilling, who was upended for the Sharks. And now it's rolled back up the near side wall. Kenyoni pinching from the point, but rushed out of the zone. Here comes Anaheim. A 1-on-2 for Tarrant, spinning and perfectly played by Bushler, who upended him. And then Tarrant with a hard hit on Wetch, who went awkwardly into the bottom of the boards.
Tarrant and Wetch are looking at each other, and not, I don't think, with admiration. Nice play.
We mentioned it that Macklin, Celebrini, and Carson Wetch, they grew up playing together. It's a rising wrister by Smith coming down the right wing, and they took a photo together during development camp. And also had a photo of them that looked the same when they were about 4 or 5, or maybe a little older than that, 8 or 9 years old, as teammates. As here comes Anaheim back up the middle of the ice. They'll gain the line coming down the left wing side. Dion Chino puts it wide.
Good presence by Smith.
Blake.
Sorry, partner. Smith comes back to take away that pass to the middle. Well done.
Lanoux on the point, rolls it into the corner. Will Smith for the Sharks around the wall, cut off by Sidorov. Good play by Dickinson, outnumbered, but he got away from the fray, and the Sharks will skate it through center. Here comes Musty over the blue line, right wing side, loads up a wrister that's deflected into the corner. 11:53 left here in the second period. Sharks 2, Ducks 1. Go-ahead goal for Nolan Burke on the power play here in the second period. Here comes Bstead back through center. Dickinson joining the rush. His shot, that's turned aside, hit the goaltender Butaets right in the chest as he came over laterally. But a good thought there for Dickinson to help out.
That was a really good shift by Dickinson. He's still out there, but physical, turning pucks over, jumping up in the play, making things happen.
Now Colin Graff, right wing side, looking for a receiver. Works behind the net, and his centering feed will carry him back to center.
I've been impressed with Dickinson this game. Well, last game, well, but this game, you see that, what you were talking about, Nick, more of a physical element to the game.
Now Cardwell, near side. Sharks 2, Ducks 1, and Cardwell had to roll off his blade, forced back to center. Now, by no means was Dickinson not good in the first game, but he's taking his game to another level here in game number 2. And there's going to be an adjustment period, no question. You haven't played in over 3 months. You're getting used to new teammates. But he's been really good so far in this game.
Yep.
As now Miskey on the far wing will run it down on that far right side. Van Roboys in the trapezoid, looking to center on the backhand. Picked up now by Burke, who has the go-ahead goal. Up top for Hache Rister through traffic. Save made by Butaets. Back for Miskey on the point. Back for Hache. Left-handed shot walks the blue stripe. And the save made by Butaets as he holds on with 10:16 left in the second. 2-1 lead for the Sharks.
Terrific job again. Van Roboys right in front of the net. Stay in there. It's a good job by the Sharks. D don't waste any time. Pucks at the net. Van Roboys is working against his man. He's trying to make sure he plays bad goalie. Just standing there and let the puck go by him. Really good presence in front of the net. And the Sharks are starting to feel it a little bit better. They're starting to get a rhythm going.
So Van Roboys will step in and take the face-off draw. And the puck's going to be played all the way down the surface, and this will be an icing against Anaheim. You know, Drew, you and I did a game between the Sharks and the Ducks last year. We talked a little bit about it. Anaheim's rebuild maybe a couple of years ahead.
Yeah.
That being said, they did bring a new GM in who's made some changes in terms of the prospect pool. But with this rivalry, you've got two teams in a rebuilding situation. No question, I think the Sharks wouldn't mind passing Anaheim in terms of this process.
100%. And what you look at from the last 2 drafts by Mike Guerrero and his staff, that the Sharks have gained a lot of traction. They went from being one of the poorest, if not the poorest team in the National Hockey League regarding wealth and assets in the minor leagues in their pipeline, to where they are now, which is up higher.
There's a shot from well out, save made by the Anaheim netminder. Announcer pushing and shoving. Gloves are off. And linesman trying to get in between before anything actually starts.
But I was going to say, Nick, just to finish that thought before we go to break here, because we've got the ice getting scraped. It's the Sharks have really jumped up as far as their valuable assets that they have in the pipeline right now.
No question about it. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. It's a 2-1 Sharks lead over the Ducks. This is Sharks Hockey on the Sharks Audio Network and at sgsharks.com.
Welcome to the annual Trading Cards Auction, brought to you by
Shot score! Watch all live San Jose Barracuda play-by-play with Nick Nolenberger on AHLTV.com. From highlight reel goals to spectacular saves and bone-crushing hits, the voice of the Barracuda, Nick Nolenberger, is on the mic for it all. Find all regular season and postseason action via AHLTV.com for a small fee. And for up-to-date stats and news, visit theAHL.com.
Welcome back to El Segundo. 2-1 lead for the Sharks on the Anaheim Ducks, and it looks like we're going to get coincidental penalties. So for the Sharks, Van Roboys, who's been in the mix all game long, will take a seat. And Wojtek Port will sit for Anaheim. We talked a little bit about the rebuild. You know, Pat Verbeek was hired as the GM in 2022, February of 2022. You know, he's made some changes. There were talks about Trevor Zegras maybe being on the trading block. They, of course, traded Jamie Drysdale. These are top picks from previous regimes. So even though Anaheim is farther ahead in their rebuild, Verbeek's made some changes, and they've picked high the last couple of years. So it's kind of interesting how the pass will shake out over the next couple of years.
I talked to Pat yesterday about just their development system. They put a lot of resources in their development system. A couple of guys we know, the great Jimmy Johnson, and now our good friend Brett Hedican. I just talked to Brett before the game. He's so excited to be part of the Ducks and doing what he's doing. It was perfect timing for him. He's got that fire, but they put a lot of resources and a lot of energy into development. They know the importance of development. The Sharks have started to do that when Mike Greer took over. So it will be a race from the Barracuda and the Gull point of view about how quick both teams can get back to where they were, two of the top teams in the National Hockey League. When you came to California, it was Death Valley. You come to California, you weren't winning very many hockey games. That's not the case anymore, but the teams want to get back to that.
Well, we thought we were going to play 4-on-4, but the penalty has actually just been called on Van Roboys.
Because he threw his gloves off?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, because you had unsportsmanlike.
So here's a short-handed chance, though, for the Sharks. Cardwell busting in, shoots, and it's kicked aside. Left pad by Butayev as Ethan Cardwell was trying to extend his team's lead.
Job by Ethan Cardwell, but Butayev, he's a big guy. When he gets his pads down, there's not much room. He's got to get up. That's easy for me to say from here. Look at Ethan. Jeez. Ethan works, man. He's smart. He gets after the puck, gets his feet moving. I like Ethan Cardwell.
It'll be interesting where his season goes as it's skated up the near side. It would not be a surprise if Cardwell gets, at the very least, a handful of games in the NHL this year.
Agreed.
23 goals last year in the American Hockey League as a rookie. That was the most for any rookie in franchise history. As we're going to get an icing against Anaheim.
Well, the thing with Ethan Cardwell is, again, you see the hockey IQ. He reads the play very well. His anticipation is incredible.
He's got a, when you talk to him too, he's a great guy, but he's got a real confidence to him.
Yeah.
Good swagger, right?
Yeah,
and that's what you need to get to the NHL, especially as a later round draft pick. You've got to convince yourself you can do it before anybody else.
I am a big believer that ego gets a bad rap in the world. You've got to have it. If you want to be successful, especially in professional sports, you've got to have that ego.
Ducks still on the power play for 48 seconds, looking to tie it up. 2-1 lead for the Sharks. Period number 2, 8:22 remaining here in this middle frame. So Lemieux has it back in his own end. 67 in white, gives it off for Blais, and Blais tried to seam the pass in the neutral zone, picked off by Pilling.
Pilling did a good job coming back there.
But he gave it away, and the Ducks are back over the line. Blais, left hash mark, up top to the point. Colangelo, top of the umbrella. Lemieux, back Colangelo, loads up, and his shot is blocked. Colangelo scored in his NHL debut last year against Ottawa as a member of the Anaheim Ducks. Back for Lemieux. Twists it along. And we're back to 5-on-5. Here's a one-timer by Gauthier, and it skitters around the wall, and Holtman has it on that right wing side. Rolling puck.
Yeah, wouldn't stop rolling on him.
Couldn't settle it down. He had a man charging in on him, too. That was Alex Blais. And now here come the Ducks. Warren to the high slot for Blais. Tip for Gauthier. Reel back in. Colangelo loads up a wrister from above the hash marks. That stop. Now Warren. Lemieux works to the backhand. Leads for Warren. Back up top. We are back to 5-on-5, but Anaheim's got it in the offensive zone. They'll make a change on the fly, and coming off the bench and pulling the trigger was DeRusso, and that's turned aside. DeRusso's got it again, 90 in white. And the Sharks are able to force it back to center.
Nice job by Bushler there to protect the front of the net. Didn't let his man get to the net. Helped with the breakout.
And an icing against Anaheim will stop the clock with 6:40 left in the second period. 2-1 lead for the Sharks over the Ducks.
Well, the Ducks can put some pressure on for sure. They are a big team that like to go to the body, do a nice job keeping pucks in along the boards. We talked about the importance of board play, how the game is really if you want to be a good team, you've got to excel in the area along the boards. Really important aspect of team play.
Here comes Anaheim back into the offensive zone. Sharks, the big club, will kick off preseason play 1 week from today at home against the Vegas Golden Knights. That's a 5 o'clock puck drop next Sunday. You can actually watch those games at sjsharks.com. Dan Rusanowski will also have the call on the Sharks Audio Network. Will you be doing that?
I am. Yep, with Danny.
So Drew's doing full TV during the regular season, aside from those national games. You'll slide over to the radio booth, but they'll help out in the preseason. Here's a chance for the Sharks coming off the bench and ringing it off the outside of the post was Colton Roberts. Now Gauthier for Anaheim. Give and go. Bumped away by Dickinson.
Again, just a little bump though. And that means there's no harm in anybody going to the net, not able to get there. And boy, this game is picked up in the physical aspect. That's offside by a mile.
Match a little bit ahead of the play. Anaheim's only goal in this game came on the power play tail end of the first, off the stick of Cutter Gauthier. We talk about untraditional markets. He was born over in Europe because his dad was playing pro hockey, but he grew up in Arizona, so he's another top player from the state of Arizona. Obviously, the baby's name is Austin Matthews, but
did not want to play in Philadelphia. And John Tortorella and Daniel Briere, Keith Jones, they went, okay, see you later.
What a unique and a little bit bizarre situation.
Really was.
Do not see that happen very often.
Linesman went down on his own. But like John Tortorella was talking about, you want volunteers, not hostages. What's the best thing for the Cutter was actually the best thing for the organization as well, in both organizations. The Ducks get a good player, Drysdale goes over, and Philadelphia gets a good player back, and people are smiling when they're playing hockey.
Delayed offside against the Sharks. Gauthier, like so many guys his age, grew up idolizing Sidney Crosby, so he was a Pens fan, drafted by the Flyers. There's a little bit of a
maybe that's why
dichotomy there as well.
Couldn't turn him.
And Will Smith is going to draw a penalty on Sidorov. With 4:38 left in the second period, Sharks going back onto the power play.
And as you said, that power play has been effective so far in the first 5 periods of this tournament. We say tournament, but there's no trophy presented or wins and losses are kept track of, or teams don't get sent home early.
I think the Traverse City tournament, Detroit, maybe Columbus, that is a tournament. Chicago, I believe they do play a tournament where there's an actual winner, a championship game.
We're more enlightened here on the West Coast.
We're a little more laissez-faire.
Exactly. It's about having fun.
We just want to know when our departure flight is.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Will Smith, good chance there, a rising shot up and over the net. Cagnoni, left point, looks off, hands off, Smith shoots, and that puck may have been blocked by the goalie. Back up that right side wall for Smith, and it bounces to the far wing. Smith takes a sharp turn, lost it, and is cleared out of the zone.
You know, it's fun when you watch Cagnoni. He's wearing 42 tonight. His feet are extremely, extremely fun to watch because he's always got them pointed in the right direction, which I know sounds funny, but he's always a threat. Like, see how he gets his feet turned right away, looking to be a threat to the net.
Smith, Halton shoots, and that puck turned aside by Butayets. It's behind him, still loose. Where is it? And it rolls just wide.
That was close.
Scramble in front. Now a good hold by Halton. You give him time and space on that left wing, he's going to do damage more often than not. And at the very least, that led to a real good opportunity. Halton has it again. Drifts to the dot, lays it down to the end line. Back for Halton, give and go with Graff right in front. Point blank, they score.
Pretty.
Quentin Musty parked atop the crease, slides it home. The Sharks have another power play goal and a 3-1 lead.
A couple of things on this. Number one, being able to regain pucks, what we talked about earlier on the second goal. But also, the change of position of the players. Guys just weren't going to spots. You've had movement in and out. You've got net presence in front. You've got an attack towards the net. Just that walk towards the net. As Graf down low, he starts to go to the net after playing a little catch with Bistad, and that creates a decision for the defenseman. What do I do? Do I go? Do I stay? And when he goes, sets up the open spot for the pass and the slam dunk. A very pretty power play goal.
Musty just finding that soft ice. As Drew mentioned, the defenseman was in a little bit of a pickle, but he leaves him. He gets forgotten about. He's parked right in front, and he guides it into a pretty much open net once it was on his tape. Now Cardwell working down the wing. Big rebound, came back in on net, and Butayets had to make the save on the rebound. Sharks starting to feel it a little bit in this second period, up 3-1. Beasted back to the point. Hache lumbering blue liner. His wrister on net, blocker to side. And it's back to center. Oh, here's a chance now for Sidorov of Anaheim. His twisting backhander intended for Pastajob, picked off. The Sharks are in transition. Cardwell drifts to the top of the circle, flicks it right wing, stuffed to the near post. It's loose in front, and it's just wide of the net.
Cardwell with a really good play by stopping up short. Everybody went right back to the net. That created the space for him to be able to start that play.
Now Sam Dickinson deep in his own end, guides it up the wing for Van Roboys. He's leaned on and driven into the corner. 1:49 left in the second. 3-1 lead for the Sharks. Here's a shot from the near side by Wetch. Rims around the wall. And here comes Anaheim back up the ice. But the Sharks do a good job of backtracking, and Dickinson turns it aside defensively.
Really good again by Dickinson.
And the play is going to be blown dead. When Anaheim's rushing up the ice on those attacks, there's just not much in the way of time and space.
Yeah, and there isn't. On this play, though, has a good chance at the net. Now Anaheim hits the transition here. It's a 2-on-1, but three guys, as Ryan Warsofsky was talking about, get back to help out. That allows Dickinson to be aggressive because he sees the help coming, so then you can be aggressive on the puck carrier.
And Dickinson just kind of widened him out. That allowed for the back checkers to get back into play.
Coaches will talk about delaying the attack, right? Slow the attack. How do you do that? By you playing uptight, but you keep backing up and making sure, if you can, to slide the guy who's got the puck to a non-threatening position.
1:25 left in the second period. Sharks 3, Ducks 1. Sharks have done their damage in this middle period on the power play with a couple of power play goals from Nolan Burke and Quentin Musty. Sharks have had multiple first-rounders the last 2 years. Musty was the second of 2 years ago.
And had a season in the O that was remarkable.
Over 100 points and 43 goals with the Sudbury Wolves in the Ontario Hockey League. First team All-Star in that league. Fourth in the league in points in the OHL this past year. No doubt when it comes to the offensive side for Quentin Musty. So a minute to go now, just under a minute now to go in this second period.
Backtrack again, that time something coming back through the neutral zone.
Pass was intended for Graf. His stick was lifted, so the icing is waved off, and here comes Anaheim as they'll break out of their own zone. Ducks donning their new sweaters. They went back to the original Mighty Duck logo on the chest, but they stay with their color scheme, sticking with the orange and gold.
By the way, there's a new documentary out about the writing of the Mighty Ducks movie. It is spectacular. It really is good.
As the puck is, well, we're going to get a whistle. It was blowing in the neutral zone. It's fascinating. Before the team was even created, the movies were made. You often think the movies came after the team.
I always remember Ronnie Wilson, former Sharks head coach, being the first head coach of the Ducks. And before game one, Emilio Estevez comes down to the bench and presents his Mighty Duck jacket to Ronnie Wilson. Kind of handing over the torch, so to speak. It was really good.
Horn will sound on the second period, so a productive second to say the least. Sharks cash in twice on the power play. Burke and Musty, the goal scorers. And after Anaheim started off fast, the Sharks settled into the period and ultimately tack on a pair to take a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and I think there's a few guys you talk about Graf, the way he's played. Say I really like his game. Van Roboys has been physical, but the big star for me so far is Dickinson. He has been physical. He's been very present in his own zone. Done a nice job on creating turnovers to let the breakout get going the other way. He has been a presence in a very good way for the Sharks.
No question about it. He's been all over the ice, jumping up in the rush as well, but that physicality has been the biggest thing that has stood out. Power play has looked good. 2 power play goals in the win on Friday. 2 more here in this game, and the Sharks lead the Ducks by a score of 3-1 after 40 minutes of play. We'll come back in a moment live from El Segundo. It's the Sharks 3, the Ducks 1 through 40. This is the 2024 NHL Rookie Faceoff on the Sharks Audio Network and SGSharks.com.
Termites, rodents, and other pests never rest. Luckily, neither does Planet Orange. Think you may have a pest problem? Call 1-800-7-ORANGE for a free termite inspection or general pest consultation from our licensed professionals. Planet Orange is an innovator in effective eco-friendly pest control methods. They'll customize each program for your needs using the most eco-friendly solution available. So don't wait. Call 1-800-7-ORANGE. That's 1-800-767-2643. Or go to planetorange.com and get started today.
Planet Orange. Orange, you glad you called?
The doctor will see you now.
But do they really? Do they see you as a mother who's a daughter and a caregiver? Fearless, but sometimes fearful? A health nut with a French fry habit? An O-positive geologist named Patty, who's here today for a melanoma exam? At Kaiser Permanente, we believe the only way to care for all of you is by seeing all that is you. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Shot score! Watch all live San Jose Barracuda play-by-play with Nick Nolenberger on AHLTV.com. From highlight reel goals to spectacular saves and bone-crushing hits, the voice of the Barracuda, Nick Nolenberger, is on the mic for it all. Find all regular season and postseason action via AHLTV.com for a small fee. And for up-to-date stats and news, visit theAHL.com.
We welcome you back inside the Toyota Sports Performance Center here in El Segundo. It's a 3-1 lead for the San Jose Sharks on the Anaheim Ducks as they get power play goals in that second period from Nolan Burke and then from Quentin Musty. Burke's at 5:39 and Musty at 16:55. They've said that Burke's goal unassisted. Musty from Colin Graf and Casper Holtman. Nick Nolenberger alongside the great Drew Remenda. Drew, it's going to get busy quick. Training camp starts midway through next week. Preseason begins 1 week from today against the Vegas Golden Knights. Something you mentioned to Ryan Warsofsky, there's just no question, and he even mentioned it too, there's a real excitement in the organization. Do people expect this team to be in the playoffs? Never say never. I don't think that's the expectation. Certainly, I think there's an expectation to be much improved. If you find a way to have a magical season, that is great, but there's an excitement that hasn't been around the building in a long time.
In 93-94, Kevin Constantine is the head coach, and our very first meeting with that brand new team, we're moving into the new building in San Jose, playing the first 2 years of the Cow Palace. Kevin Constantine gathers the team and the executives and the staff together and said, and I will never forget it, we're not here to make friends, We're not here to be respected or respectable. We're not here to be competitive. We're here to win hockey games. We are going to make the playoffs, and we will shock the hockey world. He said it, and I'm sitting beside Igor Larionov and Sergei Makarov, and Igor looks at Mac and goes, Mac, I thought we joined the Sharks. A little bit of a joke, right? We started that season 0-8-1. And nobody's thinking, oh, everybody's thinking same old Sharks. And we made the playoffs that year. And one of the things that season taught me is that goals matter. Not obviously goals in hockey, but goals matter. You have to. I don't understand anybody, if you're in this business and in the job that we're do with hockey, if you think, oh, well, I hope we're better than we were last year. I hope we can just maybe be 500. Forget that. Why not set the bar where you want to? Yes, we're here to make the playoffs. You look at Tyler Toffoli, Ty Dellandrea, Jan Ruda, Barclay Goodrow, Nico Sturm. Those guys have all won. You think they're going into a season with like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens? No. Those guys are ultra competitive, alpha dogs. Let's go get it. And that is what you need. Ryan Warsofsky's won championships. Doug Hood has been around forever in the game. So why not say, yeah, we're going for the playoffs? Nikki, I'd rather be disappointed than right. I'd rather be disappointed saying, we're going to make the playoffs. This is going to be a team that's going to shock the world again, than go, they're going to be okay. They're going to be better than they were last year. And at the end of the season, go, yeah, I see, I was right. I don't care about that. I want to see this team surprise everybody. And, you know, if that's setting the expectations too high, I don't think there's anything expectations too high. Well, there is. You know, I can grow hair by next week. There's my expectation that's too high. That's not happening. But it's just reality.
My hair could grow back.
Yeah, exactly. But when I look at it, I'm excited about this team. And the fans, and you and I saw it at the draft party. We saw it when we broadcast the development game. The fans are excited. They deserve to be excited. They deserve to be optimistic. They've stuck through this with this team in some very tough times. We had a lot of good times, but the last few have been very difficult. So why not be in a situation where you're optimistic about what could happen? I would look at this season going, the excitement is real, the optimism is real. We've seen, 5 periods now where we're seeing some good things from this prospects. Mike Greer and his team have done a lot of good things. So, and when it gets to the ice time and it gets to the big games, yeah, it's going to be difficult because there's a lot of good teams out there. But don't accept anything less than yes, we're trying to win every single game.
Well, when you bring young players in too,
yeah,
they weren't here last year.
Yeah.
They haven't been part of the struggles the last couple of years. And I think it can be almost understated what a young player can bring to a locker room. The excitement, the just natural joy for the entire process. And that gives juice to older guys sometimes too.
Glenn Sather, the great coach and general manager of the Edmonton Oilers in their heyday, used to talk about lighting the fire from below. Every time they'd win, he'd bring some new guys in that weren't obviously the top guys, because the top guys were the top greatest players we'd ever seen. But he'd bring some guys in that would be on that third, fourth line, fifth, sixth defenseman. He would always talk about, you got to light the fire from below. And he's right. You don't light a fire from the top. You light it from down below in the furnace. And then it builds, and the heat grows. And that's when I look at some of these young players, some of these guys that Mike has brought in, lighting a fire from below. What happened last year happened, it's over. It does you no good to hang on to it. Yesterday is gone. So you've got to be where your feet are. And if you can bring a passion and a presence and a hype and some excitement, go for it. Do it. You don't have to be the shy, reserved rookie. I think you're absolutely right that the young guys can provide that fire from below.
Well, I think sometimes Sharks fans, the newer fan, they're going to forget about the era that you're referring to. When the Sharks first started in the National Hockey League, there was some serious struggles.
Nicky.
Historic struggles.
Historic.
But then a historic run of success.
Yeah, right.
So there is a bottom, and certainly we talked about it during the draft. It felt like the Sharks kind of hit rock bottom.
Yes.
They kind of knew they had to do it. It was going to be growing pains last year. But this year, I mean, there's improvements at every level.
100%.
So there's no question, even what the expectations are. They're just expectations.
Yeah.
They go out the door no matter what once the first game happens.
Exactly. So I asked Tom Holy, assistant general manager, especially when they traded Timo Meier, I said to him, did you have to really trade him? And he said, yeah, we did, because it was basically an inheritance tax. And then last year happened, and I don't think any of us expected the season to be as tough as it was last year. But again, asked him, why is this happening? He goes, you have to tear it all down in order to rebuild the foundation. And they tore it all down, and they rebuilt the foundation, and you're starting to see now the pillars go up, you're seeing some walls put in, and the concrete has already been laid, and it's a pretty solid foundation. And some additions being made. I think Mike has probably accelerated it more this year than we thought he was going to. Thank goodness for Mr. Plattner, understanding what had to happen in order to what will happen, we think, with the way things have been going and the drafts that they've had and the trades that they've made. So when you look at what the Sharks have done, like, you're right, expectations go out the window once first game starts. You just go out and play after that. But overall, when you look at it, the teardown has happened, but we can be rest assured that the build has now begun, and has begun in earnest. And maybe it's farther ahead than we hoped at this point, or we're hoping for at this point.
Well, we're here in L.A., and they've got two photos from their Stanley Cup champion winning teams, and one of those, Tyler Toffoli, is in, and you talked about Toffoli a little bit.
I love Toffoli.
Look, when you're a team that finished last in the standings, picked #1 overall, you're probably not in the running for free agents who have scored 30-plus goals.
Right.
A pretty consistent rate throughout their career. It's just not very likely. Guys want to win. They want to have success. It was kind of a perfect storm. His wife is from Monterey, wanted to get back to California, also sees the youthfulness and the excitement that has kind of been restored within the organization. He'll probably play on the first line. He'll probably play with Macklin Celebrini on his wing. To me, that is critical for Celebrini, who's going to have to play heavy minutes as a center iceman, which is probably the most challenging thing you can do as a young player, to play down the middle. But he's going to have that safety blanket in Toffoli.
And he's going to have it with the fact that as the games get going, there's going to be times that his passion turns to frustration. There's going to be those times where he's not going to be able to do the things he was able to do in college, or in, under 18 hockey, or in bantam hockey. There's going to be some times where he's going to be down on himself, because that's just the type of individual he is, because he wants to be great and wants to help the Sharks win. That's where Tyler Toffoli is going to be so important, monumental, as a matter of fact, because Tyler's been there, done that. He has been a great player for a long time. He will help Macklin understand. So will Joe Thornton, because Joe Thornton is going to be Macklin's landlord. So will Patrick Marleau with Will Smith. That's important to have that experience around. But off the ice and on the ice, the Sharks are taking care of their future.
How important in your mind is it to have those guys live with the two players you just mentioned?
Huge. Go talk to Patty Marleau about living with Kelly Rudy when he came in as a 17/18-year-old like Macklin. How that meant a lot. Patrick was from a small, so small. I mean, Anaheim, Saskatchewan is small, okay? Patty's family he has brothers, sisters. I mean, family is important to him. It mattered to come in and live with Kelly and Donna Rudy and the girls. It mattered to him, To have somebody there, to have a stability, to not be home in your apartment by yourself looking around and going, okay, now what do I do? It matters to have a place where you can recenter yourself. Family's important. And when you come to a hockey team, Macklin's now, it's great for Macklin because he's got his real family just about 45 minutes away. But he's now got the Thornton family and the Marlowe's family. Could you ask for two, first of all, better wives than Tobiah and Christy? No, right? I mean, the Marlows and the Thorntons, they're great families. Joe and Patty, we love them both for good reason. They understand that sometimes you got to give a kid space. Sometimes you got to just go downstairs and put your arm around them and talk to them. Their parents, they get it. I think it's really important, and it will be beneficial to Macklin until he becomes where he's, Joe, I can afford this place. I'm going to buy that off you once you go.
Well, we all saw the photos, too, when Patty Marlowe and Joe Thornton at separate times were in Toronto.
Yeah.
And they took Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews under their wing, and some of those classic photos of those two basically joining the families.
Yes.
And that's what's going to happen for Smith and Celebrini as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. When you look at the Marlows, still refer to Matthews and Marner as the other Marlowe boys. They got the M in their name, but they do. They still refer to them as their other sons. And that happened a lot where back in the day, like Kelly Rudy taking in Patty Marlowe is one of the better stories, but it happened a lot where families will take in young players, say, hey, because you need that.
They're 18.
They're 18 years old. 18 years old. My dad kicked me out. No, but thankfully I got to go live with my brother. But you need that support. And you need, a kind of just a getaway. So I think it's great, but also it's also an indication of the Sharks understanding that it's just not about the player, it's about the person, especially when you're that young.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting season for the San Jose Sharks. A renewed sense of optimism. We saw Celebrini on Friday, had a power play goal as the Anaheim Ducks making their way back onto the ice here. 3-1 lead for the Sharks through 40 minutes. Nick Nolenberger alongside Drew Remenda. Story time with Drew during the intermission.
There's talk. Some of it is true as well. Nick, I don't know if you know that or not. Some of the things I say are actually factual based. I used to say in the radio show that I do back home in Saskatchewan, I said, some of the things I say may or may not be factual.
Well, if it happened pre-internet, then we don't even.
Well, there's no internet in Saskatchewan. I don't know if you know that yet. We got to catch up. I'm kidding. We're a very, very advanced group there.
Sharks have moved from left to right here in the third period. 3-1 lead for the Sharks. They cashed in twice on the power play in that second period. So Cutter Gauthier will take the face-off try against Lucas Van Roboys. And Gauthier wins it straight back, and it's directed back into the Sharks zone. Bushler with the puck, works behind his net, tried to seam a pass through a skate, caromed away. And now the Sharks bank it to center. Here comes Wetch with speed over the line, working down the wing to the forehand. Tried to slide it inside the near post, but it rolled off the end of his blade. And then the net got jarred off its moorings. 19 seconds into the period. Good jump for Wetch.
Absolutely. I love this play by Wetch. So Carson, so the Sharks work for the breakout. An errant pass, then Wetch just takes off. So he's pushing the pace by coming across the ice, support the puck, and then he just drives to the net. Gets the front leg out, protects the puck, builds the wall. Good chance. I love that from a hockey player.
Wetch last year, 25 goals with the Calgary Hitmen in the Western Hockey League, selected by the Sharks in his past draft in the third round. Got a little bit of an edge to his game as well, not just the offense.
If you're coming out of the WHL, you better have some edge to your game.
Donan Chino rims it around, and Lanoux now has the puck, 67 and white for Anaheim as he veers his way along his own defensive blue line. And it's picked up by Van Roboys and placed back to his D-core. He'll make a change. So we're nearing a minute gone in the third period. Sharks 3, Ducks 1. Bostojov intercepts in the neutral zone, works into the offensive zone, and directs a pretty slow-moving backhander on net. That Carrier puts his trapper on top of it. And more pushing and shoving behind the net.
This has been funny how, like you said, a lot of these players wouldn't even know much about the Duck-Shark rivalry, but they certainly don't look like it because they have engaged it pretty importantly today. They've been quite evident that, well, you're not on the right team, so I'm not going to like you.
These are exhibition games, but there's no question there's just being around the guys a little bit. There's not a pressure, but they want to perform. This is a fishbowl in here, a practice rink essentially with every important member of these organizations watching these games, and these guys want to play well. And you can tell by just the tempo and intensity of these games, these guys are taking it seriously.
Yes, sir.
Here's a block shot. Will Smith's going to gallop his way to center. Veers it along for Halton. Over the blue line, he tried to spot a trailing Musty in the high slot, went through him. And Torrance back the other way for Anaheim. Bostojov.
No interference on that one.
Halton collided into, was not even close to the puck. No penalty on the play. Must have been deemed inadvertent as Halton works his way back to center. Pushes it right corner. Warren back to get it. Big defenseman. Sharks take it away momentarily, but Sidorov forces it back to center. 3-1 lead for the Sharks. Musty has the third goal, has the puck on his stick. Lost it and then collided into Beestead in the neutral zone. Ducks have it once again. Blais hands off, and it's placed into the near corner in the Sharks zone. Sharks 3, Ducks 1. Sharks scoring twice on the power play in the second period. They have not trailed in this game as it's pushed up the near wing and rolls all the way down the length of the ice. No icing on the play. Beestead trying to get to it. Port the defenseman back. And now we're going to get a scrap at center ice. Braden Haché is going to drop the gloves at center ice with Anaheim's Connor Smith. Couple of big boys are about to go at it. Smith listed at 6'6", 210 pounds. Haché 6'3", 210. And they lock up. And some uppercuts.
Body shots.
By Smith. And tries to go over the top. Haché trying to return it. Smith with a couple of lefts. Haché's helmet has come off. And Smith still throwing body shots. Haché over the top, and he answers with a straight. And then a final couple of shots by Smith puts Haché down to the ice. Good bout. Well, those two probably are very familiar with one another, both from the Ontario Hockey League.
Like you said, two very big boys. Smith, big, he gets a couple of shots in at the end, and Haché goes down, but a spirited scrap. And just one penalty coming up, or I'm just saying coincidentals just for the Fighting Majors. I thought there might have been another one to the Ducks, but maybe not. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, it was interference. Yeah, I thought so. So the Sharks will have a power play. There was an interference call being called first. That sparked the fight, and now the Sharks have a power play.
So the face-off will be the left side of Butayet. Smith drafted by Anaheim in the 4th round back in 2023. But again, those two played in the OHL last year. Smith with Peterborough and Owen Sound. And Haché with Saginaw. So just renewing a previous relationship. So we're 2.5 minutes into the third period. Sharks up by a pair. They did their damage on the power play in the second, and they're back onto the man advantage here in the third. Graff over the blue line. Colin Graff. Hands on Musty, shoots, he scores! Off the post and in. Quentin Musty has his second of the game. The Sharks lead 4-1.
Well, it took a little bit to get the puck settled in the neutral zone, but then on the attack, it's very straightforward and very simple. It's the wide entry into the zone as the Sharks go rink wide with it. So it looked a little time to get going. They get rink wide with it. And then Musty is just perfect timing on this play by Musty. Doesn't get in too quick. Make sure he jumps at the right time. Nice pass all the way across. And the shot is fantastic. The key on this play, though, is the entry into the zone. It was a little bit mussed up, but then late man comes in and Musty waits and then jumps on it at the right time on a great shot. We talked about Musty, 43 goals last year. When he gets that opportunity, he's able to put it home.
5th power play goal for the Sharks in less than 2 games, as Musty's got his 2nd straight goal, both on the power play. And you wonder about special teams, not a lot of practice with one another, but the Sharks have just so much skill on their first unit. They've had no problem assimilating into game action and having success when up a man. Had 2 power play goals in the win on Friday against Utah, now 3 in this game. Here's a chance for Bjugstad, and that's gobbled up as Warren and Cardwell come together for a moment.
That's the other thing I like about Cardwell. Oh, now we got some more action going here. We've got Bjugstad.
And DeRusso pushing and shoving. What I like about Cardwell is that he's not very big, but he goes to the net all the time and doesn't give an inch. Gets pushed and he comes back. Now the interesting thing here, you got 16:36 left. Now we saw with the Barracuda last year and the San Jose Sharks last year, leads were never safe. I want to see how a group of guys continues to push and play hard and be able to manage the game properly.
Van Roboys will step in and take the draw against Cutter Gauthier. It's won by Gauthier. Sharks hold it inside the blue line and put it back in on net. Sharks 4, Ducks 1. It's 3 unanswered from San Jose, all on the power play, including 2 from Quentin Musty. And we talked about Musty's offensive ability. 45 goals last year in the Ontario Hockey League, 102 points, as he rips it off the post and in to extend his team's lead. Colangelo for Anaheim gives it away to Sam Dickinson, and Dickinson will lay it back to his defensive partner as Miskey whips it up the wall. Bianchino lost his footing, got it over to Porto as he was falling, and we've got a penalty against the Sharks. That'll stop play. So tripping the call, and Lucas Van Roboys is the one who's going to the box as he voices his displeasure.
So an important penalty kill coming up now. You got the 4-1 lead. You really don't want to give the other team a chance, a breath, any hope. So a big penalty kill right here.
So Sasha Postejov will take the draw. He played 46 games last year in San Diego with the goals as a rookie at the pro level. It's controlled by Anaheim, working down that right side wall. Sidorov up to the point. Bianchino gives it off. There's a shot, didn't get through. Still loose, recovered by Anaheim. Bianchino loads up another shot from the point. That's blocked by Bjugstad. Works his way up ice. He had Cardwell, but he couldn't get it to him. Ducks quickly back over the line after the giveaway. Little quick touch pass, gobbled up by the netminder Carrier, and held on for the whistle, and more post-whistle pushing and shoving.
How many times do you think you can punch a guy in the head with the referees not calling that? Bianchino makes a really good play. It was going to be a breakaway for the Sharks shorthanded, but Bianchino retreated very well, got his stick in the right position. But then also he jumps in and throws 3 punches at the Sharks, and the referees decide we're not going to do anything on that. Yes, I've already started, folks, in case you're wondering about complaining about officials.
Face off to the right side of Carrier.
I keep telling myself, Nicky, I'm not going to do it anymore, right? I lie to myself every day.
Well, at least you're consistent.
Exactly.
Sharks are able to clear 200 feet. Netminer Butayets will stop it behind his net, and Gauthier will carry it up and over the red line. Stick handling up ice, hands off left flank, cross ice, shot, blocker to side, Carrier, good stop back up top. Ducks setting up on the power play, Colangelo back post. And that's stopped by the left pad of Carrier, back up top to the point. Ducks setting up on the power play. 54 seconds left on it as Gauthier's shot is off the frame and wide. Collected though by Colangelo. Up to the point, Lanoux, back Colangelo, left hash marks. Works to the top of the circle. Gauthier near post, and it was out of the reach of the intended target, rolls back to center.
They're going for that cross crease or across the front of the net tip. Good play there.
That puck taken away. Dickinson trying to work his way up ice, but it's taken away by Gauthier.
Yeah, did a good job on hustling back.
Gauthier with it, far right wing side. And you like the effort there of Sam Dickinson. Kind of rush up ice. Lanoux, right wing side for the Ducks, works down towards the end line. In front to change direction and dribbles into the near corner.
Even up.
Power play is over. Van Roboys exits the box. He'll head off immediately, and Haltman will spill over the boards. And Haltman's going to receive an outlet pass and work his way to center. Stick handles.
Slash. No.
Up ice and offside of the Sharks as Haltman got a little bit of lumber on the wrist.
Yeah, I thought there was a linesman who put his hand up. Haltman talking to the official right now. The back official. I think he was blocked out from being able to see that.
So Thomas DeSarusso will take the draw for Anaheim. He'll dribble it back to his defense, and it's placed deep into Sharks ice. Musty will lift it rink wide, and it's going to be blown for an offside.
Wasn't quite timed properly. Haltman going in, saying something on Warren, who finished that check. What Haltman thought was after the whistle. Referee says that was just routine. I think the referee's correct in that one. See, I'm not criticizing him all the time.
DeRusso will take the face-off draw. And off the draw, it's won by the Sharks. But DeRusso flicks it back up the surface, foot race to it. And a physical play into the corner boards. Ducks come out with it, swung up high to the point. Warren, mid-ice, shoots, save made. Where's the puck? And it's picked up by San Jose, and Will Smith will work his way up the left wing side. Smith on the backhand, spots Musty, and Musty's shot forced wide.
Musty's smart, though. You see him go to the right space. He doesn't drive the far net because there was already a guy driving the net, so space opened up in the slot. Was there for the chance.
And we're going to get another whistle here.
Offside. The puck had just crossed over the blue line, so it was a delayed offside. Haltman didn't know, so he kept in on the forecheck.
So Hache released from the penalty box after serving his 5-minute major for fighting, and he gets the customary stick taps on the boards from his fellow teammates for his hard work. 12:32 left in the third, 4-1 lead for the Sharks. They've scored 3 unanswered, all on the power play, including the last 2 from Quentin Musty.
That's a good shot, smart.
Got through by Diancino, but save was made. It's all the way back into the duck end. That's an icing against the Sharks. 12:19 left here in the third.
I like Diancino's game. Pretty noticeable defenseman for the Anaheim Ducks. Does some good things. Gets pucks to the net. Good skater.
A teammate of Braden Hache's last year in Saginaw, helped the Spirit win the Memorial Cup. 5th rounder of Anaheim back in 2023.
Saginaw was the host team.
They were the host team.
Yeah, won it. Beat a lot of, well, 3 really good teams. But they were honestly, they were dominant in that Memorial Cup.
Cardwell on the left side. Bianchino also played with Daniil Gushchin at one point in the OHL with the Niagara Ice Dogs. And he'll carry it up ice and hand off. Ducks over the line, and a shot on target is fielded off the ice by the netminder Carrier for another whistle. .44 left in the third. Sharks 4, Ducks 1. Second game of 3 coming to you live from El Segundo in the Toyota Sports Performance Center. Now, this isn't just a hockey sports facility. I actually saw former Golden State Warrior Harrison Barnes walk in the complex the other day.
Figure skating goes on here as well. Talk about young athletes working their tail off to be great at something. We saw boys and girls yesterday working in the figure skating. Now that's some edge work, my friend. That is some edge work.
Sharks fired in deep. Granger coming hard down the near side wall. Pilling shot off the outside of the cage. His fourth line getting some ice time, trying to take advantage of it. Dickinson winds into a shot, and that's turned aside, and the rebound scooped up by Anaheim and rushed out of the zone. Back in the Sharks' end. Both teams battling away in a wraparound bid. Save made by Carrier. Granger had it for a moment. Now it's reversed. And the Sharks will steer it off the wall. And it's back to center ice.
Offside. I couldn't get back on side on time. That was Sidorov. He was out for a while and more, pushing and shoving, and here we go again. And
no love loss.
No.
Between these two.
Carson Wetch gets in to prevent a Duck from jumping into the fray. Oh yeah, there's some animosity, there's some action, there's some snarl in this game.
Sharks lead it 4-1. They've got goals from Cagnoni, Burke, and a pair from Musty. Ducks tied it late in the first with under 7 seconds to go in the first on the power play. Cutter Gauthier with a beautiful one-timer to level the score, but it has been all Sharks since that point. They've got 5 power play goals in 2 games.
Yeah, one was in the first game was a power play influence goal. There wasn't much time. It just expired. Well, it was a Cardwell's goal. It was in the first game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now right at the tail end of a power play.
Oh.
And
high touch.
High touch. That stops play. 10:22 left here in the third. 11:30 a.m. start tomorrow. Sharks and Avalanche will close things out for the Sharks here at the 2024 NHL Rookie Faceoff. Drew and I will have the call. Is that the earliest game you've done? 11:30?
Yeah, have to be. Yeah.
Did you do? You didn't do the morning game for the Barracuda last year. Barracuda play. Yep.
So no, we did the 2 and 1.
You did you did double day last year. It was
like
an Iron Man of hockey broadcast.
It was like a really early start, and then I went and did the Sharks game in the evening.
Barracuda.
You know why? Because I love working with you. That's why. I do. You're a hell of a good broadcaster.
It's a blast to have you do games, and we'll have you on the air again this year.
Yep. It's going to be a lot more fun this year. Not that it wasn't fun last year broadcasting with you, but as we talked about, there's some really good things to watch with the Sharks and the Barracuda this season.
It's a shot from the left point by Bushler. And you talk about the free agent signees for the Sharks. Barracuda made some big signings as well during the offseason. Andrew Podorowski, who's been to the Calder Cup final for 4 straight years in which it's been held. He's got a couple of years in which it wasn't held during COVID. He's a 2-time champion. His best season came under Ryan Warsofsky in Chicago. He had over 100 points. So there's that connection. They went and got Lucas Carlson, who's a dynamic defenseman in the American Hockey League. Jimmy Schultz, who was
with Coachella Valley, with Podorowski the last couple of years, so he's been to 2 straight finals. These are veteran players that should help the young guys in the AHL as well.
Absolutely. If the goaltenders can stay healthy, there's going to be a much improved team as far as wins losses go.
Now Musty looking for the hat trick's going to work down the wing. Musty hands off, quick shot, they score. Kasper Haltman sneaks it under the right arm of Butayets, and the Sharks lead it 5-1.
Quentin Musty, good play in the neutral zone, and then what does he do? He just hits the gas on the transition. They get up in the neutral zone, and Quentin Musty just hits the gas, makes a nice play, strong on his stick. But Haltman very smart there as well. Again, we've got the wide drive towards the net. That creates a little space up in the high slot, and that's the key. The key on that is when you have that drive, what happens is it pushes the defenseman back. Here comes Musty, drive to the net. D-man stands back. Haltman reads what space is available, and Musty with a no-look backhander on the tape, and then it's in the net. Beautiful goal.
Haltman had 32 goals last year in the OHL in the regular season, but it was his postseason which he absolutely took off. He had 17 goals for the London Knights in the postseason as part of their run to the Memorial Cup final.
And London Knights were the best team in hockey. They were the best team in the Canadian Hockey League, but as we talked about, Saginaw decided, no, we're going to put a stop to that in the Memorial Cup.
Yeah, they beat Saginaw in the OHL championship, but Saginaw had the automatic bid being the host team, and they end up winning the Mem Cup as there's a rising shot over the net. But I think for Haltman, it just took him a little bit to get used to the North American ice, his first season. And that was the reason why they wanted him to play in the OHL.
Yeah.
Was to get used to the lifestyle, the smaller sheet. Stylistically, things are much different, tighter, not as much room. And what a way to finish his season. He was arguably London's best player in the postseason.
Yeah, he was. He was in the Memorial Cup.
There's a shot from well out, is going to be fielded by Kerry Air, and right on cue, more pushing and shoving, a wrestling match as bodies go tumbling down the back of the net.
I think that's Sidorov in there for Anaheim. I didn't see who was.
Looks like Hachet's in, there for the Sharks again. As well.
Oh boy, you like that, right? You like that. Always be in the mix. But at 5-1 with 7:27 left, we're going to get a little bit of a break here with the ice crew coming out.
7:27, as Drew mentioned, left in this third period. Sharks 5, they're all over the Ducks. They lead at 5-1. We're back in a moment. This is Sharks Hockey at the 2024 NHL Rookie Faceoff on the Sharks Audio Network and at sjsharks.com.
Want to stay up to date on all things San Jose Barracuda and Sharks prospects?
All you have to do is follow us on X,
Facebook,
Instagram, and YouTube.
For exclusive content, breaking news, highlights,
and so much more.
For more information, visit sjbarracuda.com or find us at sjbarracuda.
Welcome back inside the Toyota Sports Performance Center. You know, Braden Hachet, his dad, Conrad Hachet, he oversees the entire officiating for the Ontario Hockey League. So
no way.
He does. And what's classic about it is just the way that he plays.
Yeah.
He's giving the refs a long night here.
He's ever had conversations with Dad after?
I think he has from time to time.
Yeah, you have to think so. Go home and complain about the officials. Your refs suck, Dad. I'm not saying that he said that, but I'm just saying it could be a possible conversation. Because you know how fired up people get about officials these days. You got penalties coming up.
Maybe he's got a little more sympathy for the job
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Right?
My dad was an umpire, and my dad is in the Saskatchewan Ancestors Sports Hall of Fame and Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame for umpiring. And I had more sympathy for umpires than I do for referees.
7:27 left in the third period. 5-1 lead for the Sharks. They have scored 4 unanswered. They've got goals from Luca Cagnoni way back in the first. They scored a couple of power play goals in the second. Nolan Burke,
Quentin Musty. Musty tacked on another power play goal here in this third, and then he set up Casper Haltman on a beautiful feed, and Haltman ripped it home to give the Sharks a 5-1 lead. And back in the box for the Sharks is Braden Hachey, but for the Anaheim Ducks is Igor Sidorov. So that's a wash, but we'll play 4-on-4 for the next couple of minutes. Pastujov trying to take it right up the middle of the ice, cut off.
Stayed with it though, didn't he? We were both last year impressed with Pastujov, his play.
Another prospect piece for the Anaheim Ducks. Grew up in Florida. He's got brothers who played at a high level as well. Musty has a chance for the hat trick. Shoots, he scores. Quentin Musty. He's got another point, his fourth of the game, and he's got the hat trick as the Sharks take a commanding 6-1 lead.
But a key on this play, Nick, is the work of Will Smith. As he goes up high and he drops the puck for Musty, he's going to lay a pick on the Ducks Smith. As he has the puck, he holds it, and Smith is coming across to try to get with Musty, but drop the puck for him. Keep your body in the right position. It's a beautiful, beautiful, smart heads-up play by Will Smith that gives Musty that opportunity in that space.
And he goes straight through the 5-hole to complete the hat trick.
Quick release, right?
I think these goalies expect so often for the guys to go upstairs because players like scoring top shelf.
They love top shelf.
But Musty puts it low through the 5-hole and completes the hat trick. He has been in on the last 4 straight goals. And the Sharks lead it 6-1. Gauthier peeling away, top of the circle. There's a shot blocked into the corner. Bianchino will go D to D. Lanoux. One-timer atop the left side by Colangelo, bottled up and held on by Carrier for the whistle.
But I love plays that Will Smith, a play like Will Smith just made, because it shows that you're thinking. You're reading away from the puck. You understand how the game is played. And he just sets a beautiful little pick after giving the puck to Musty. Musty read it perfectly as well. His timing was outstanding.
The one-timer off the drop broken stick.
Betrayed him right there, didn't it?
That was Usero teed it up. And now Haltman is upended.
Okay.
And no penalty on the play. So we continue, and it's still 4-on-4, so a little bit of extra real estate here. Sharks lead it 6-1. And since the second period, it has just been a dominating performance for those in teal. Here's a drive to the net. The Ducks finally stop the bleeding. They are back on the board.
It was a really good change. The penalties ended, and Sigorov jumps onto the ice. Sidorov, and he just takes off. He just gets into the play. And it looks like the Sharks are going to be okay because it was 4-on-4. Zadorov jumps in, little fake shot. He gets an open lane to the net and finishes it off.
So the Ducks finally stopped the bleeding. That was 5 straight for San Jose. Sidorov, the goal scorer.
Sorry, Sidorov. I'm saying Sidorov. My fault. Sorry.
Lots of names that we're learning here.
We were looking at Anaheim's lineup today with the names, and I was thinking,
didn't do us any favors.
No.
That was the Sharks a couple of years ago as Anaheim ices the puck.
Sorry.
So the face-off will be.
I got Smith right though today, twice.
So the face-off to the right side of the Anaheim net. Sharks win it. And Bushler gives it off for Sump as that fourth line's back out there. There's a shot, redeflected. Hachey was the one who swung it on target. Now picked up by Anaheim and skated back through center ice. Ducks will flick it left or right corner. Loveson was the one who placed it into the right corner. And the Sharks will quickly place it back to center.
Chino came off the bench, went D to D. Tipped up that far right wing. Hache got to it for San Jose, banks it off the boards. Anaheim back over the line, directed into the left corner. Huneau was the one who placed it left corner.
Good move there, Chino.
Just dancing his way along the blue line. Chino, wrist turn, that's blocked into the corner. And the Sharks pick it back up in their own end, and they flick it to center ice as they'll make a partial change. Ducks quickly transition, though, back into the offensive zone. 4 minutes ago in the third period, Sharks 6, Ducks 2. Hat trick for Quentin Musty. He's been in on the last 4 straight Sharks goals. Corner board battle. Van Rohe pokes it for Nolan Burke, who scored back in the second. Up top to the point, Roberts gives off for Van Rohe. Wetch reaching out for it. Van Rohe has it now for the Sharks behind the net. Up to the point for Sam Dickinson. Those two crisscross. Handed off to Wetch. Save is made. Puck is still loose, and it rolls just wide of the net on the near post. And the Ducks looking to clear. They will.
Burke causing major problems in front of the net for the Anaheim Ducks. Got cross-checked to the ice. Had something to say to the official as he was leaving the ice.
Wetch deflects it in deep. Warren will pick it up for Anaheim. Twisted along the near side. Musty steps up on Pastajob as those two collide into one another. Now it's rim far wing. Smith's got it for the Sharks. Works around one man. Still has the puck. Up high to the point. Still holding on to it. Will Smith weaving away. Back to the point. Cagnoni. Luca Cagnoni scored back in the opening period. Cagnoni pulls up. Shoots. Deflected on target. And Butayets makes the save on the Musty deflection as Musty trying to add to his point total.
Will Smith doing a very nice job as we get more guys swearing at each other. Very nice job of using all the ice in the offensive zone. He rolls up high, has control of the puck, and as he rolls up high, and it creates the scoring chance because Cagnoni reads off of him. He sees it. He's able to jump in, get the puck, and then you've got, again, people in front of the net for the Sharks for that deflection and that chance. Good save, but a nice look at the skill of Will Smith.
I think the chemistry these guys have already is pretty impressive. You know, rookie camp just started a couple of days before we made our way down to LA, so it's not like there's much of a runway to get used to one another, but just shows you the skill, right?
Yeah, and also the hockey IQ, being able to read and react.
Sharks 6, Ducks 2. Sharks looking to improve to 2-0 in this NHL rookie faceoff. This one much more in their control. They won 3-2 against Utah on Friday.
Seattle tomorrow? Is that right?
Colorado tomorrow.
Colorado tomorrow. Sorry, Colorado tomorrow. Seattle's here, Colorado's here, Utah, the Sharks, the Ducks, the Kings. It's been fun watching. We came yesterday and watched a couple games. They were, again, high skill level. You can see why the work put in by these hockey staffs and being able to draft and try to find the right players. You're seeing some good ones with every team in this tournament.
And you see it too, this happened a handful of years ago, but Jeff Fiel, who was a Shark at one point, he played for Colorado in this rookie face-off. The Sharks end up signing him the following year. So just because you're not necessarily a signed player, this is a showcase for everybody on the ice.
Absolutely. Good point.
Tons of scouts in attendance. .130 left here in the third. Sharks up 6-2. Cardwell deflects it on net. Butayets, the goaltender, makes the save. DeRusso carries it up the left wing side and lifts it back into the Shark zone. Hache behind the net reverses it on the backhand. Now Bistad for the Sharks. Sharks can't clear. They give it away. Put on net. Carrier stretching out. And the puck stays out as Carrier on his stomach. Just stayed with it. And it remains a 6-2 Sharks lead. Carrier needed every bit of his 6'2" frame to keep that puck out. He was stretching the toes as there's a sharp angle shot that's once again turned aside by the Shark netminder and returned back into Ducks territory. Sharks will make a change on the fly. Anaheim quickly trying to take advantage of it. We're under a minute to go. 22 seconds remaining in this one. Sharks are going to roll to a comfortable victory and improve to 2-0. It has been the Quentin Musty show. 3 goals, and watch out on that far side as it's veered into the corner. Sump didn't see the pressure, but he's got it now on his stick on the far side. Pushes it up high to the point. Dickinson releases it just in time. Near side for Robert. Shoots and scores. Right before the horn sounded, a buzzer beater. Gives the Sharks the touchdown, and they're going to win this game by a final score of 7-2.
Good timing again to jump in on the play. The Sharks do a good job along the boards. They get it back to the D. They a little work of the puck, a high-low play, and then just jumping in at the right time. Pass goes across, and a nice finish on that. And the Sharks come away, as you said, a 7-2 victory.
Colton Roberts is the one who scores the goal.
That was a nice play by Roberts.
Sure was. 5th round pick in this last draft, member of the Vancouver Giants in the Western Hockey League. Sharks win it by a final score of 7-2. Lots to like in that one, no question about it. And the names that you hope to see producing certainly stepped up their game, and hard to look past a guy like Quentin Musty, who is in on 4 straight goals and picks up the hat trick. Both teams shaking hands at center ice, as they'll do throughout this rookie face-off. One more game for the Sharks. They'll look to complete it with a perfect record tomorrow morning against the Colorado Avalanche. Drew and I will have final thoughts when we come back in just a moment. This is Sharks Hockey on the Sharks Audio Network and on sjsharks.com.
Being there for live NHL games means more thrilling face-offs, more action, and more memories made for the whole family. And when you need tickets to catch the San Jose Sharks hit the ice, Ticketmaster's got you covered. As the official ticket marketplace of the San Jose Sharks and the NHL, Ticketmaster gives you more ways to find your perfect seat with a wide selection of tickets available for every game. And if your plans change, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell or transfer your tickets. Plus, mobile tickets make it easy to get into the arena in time for puck drop. Check out the full schedule of upcoming games and get tickets today at Ticketmaster.com.
The Sharks know that the key to victory is inspiration, looking for openings, creating opportunities, leaving it all on the ice. This is the type of inspired play that leads to the Stanley Cup. At Western Digital, we believe you should be empowered and inspired by the data that surrounds you. Our powerful flash and HDD storage